And there we are. Hey, everybody. What's going on? My name's Dave McRae, coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. And I am joined by Sean Clark, all the way in getting sunnier Southern California, getting sunnier and warmer. Sean, how are you?
Yes, I'm great.
Good. Thank you for joining me. Impromptu, spur of the moment, but this is going to be fun. This is
you reached out to me and told me about a little message you got, and I was like, what? And I was like, well, you got to address that.
Yeah, it's, you know what, it kind of started, I'm going to say, like, I don't know, when the first one I did, I can't remember, it was like 4 years ago, I did a hate mail video. And I think I've done about 4 or 5 of them over the years. And it's real messages from real viewers. You know, 99% of the messages I get, which I'm sure 99% of the ones, you know, they're fine. They're all great. They're, you know, well-meaning people. They're fine. They're all positive. But there's that 1%, you know, that you get that is always, you know, weird or unusual or calling you out because they didn't like what you said about Halloween or their favorite horror movie or something. And so I compiled about 4 or 5 of them, and I started this sort of this trend of hate mail. And I thought that was going to open the floodgates. I thought that then people were going to be faking it, sending me fake shit, you know, to have me read it on air. It didn't happen. Yeah. It actually has dwindled away to hardly anything. That's actually a good thing. But last night I got a message and I saw it come in, and what sort of tipped me off was that I saw that it was all in caps. You know, and I'm like, oh God, you know, what the hell is this shit, right? And I read it, and as soon as I read it, I had to send it over to you because, you know, I don't even know where to begin with this. I mean, you know, it involves Tony Moran, who obviously is no secret to criticism on this channel, and obviously with your experience with him, and it's just funny. It's a funny message. I don't know. Should we just jump into it, or should we?
Well, I mean, I guess read that, and I guess it opens a few other topics based on things he or she. I'm assuming it's a he. I think.
Well, yeah. The person's name that sent it to me was. I mean, this is. It's. now I'm gonna get hate mail for that's my fucking name, man. What are you doing?
What's his name?
Steve.
What's a Steve? So we know it's a guy.
Steve Tugnuts. Steve Tugnut. And like I said to you before we went live, maybe it's an alias, but there was an NHL goaltender named Ron Tugnut years ago. So, I mean, maybe this is just the plural version of Tugnut. Maybe Ron had 1 nut. This guy's got 2. I mean, I don't know. So from a Steve Tugnuts sent over this message, is not very happy with me, not very happy with you, and is very, adamant about expressing that and defending Tony Moran. Now, if Tony Moran ever watches this, Tony, don't shoot the messenger. You can reach out to this guy. You can reach out to Steve Tugnuts about your excursion here. But this is the message that Steve Tugnut sent to me, and you're right. I guess we'll read it, get out of the way, and that'll of course open the door to all sorts of juicy stuff. So
are you gonna read it?
Yes, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna move over to the other
screen. Are you gonna read it like as it's written? Because he's yelling, right? It's all caps. Are you gonna yell it?
I wasn't going to, but I can.
No, I guess you
could.
Well,
I mean, you know, I can read it with some conviction. You know, I can
read it with some conviction, but
okay.
Let everybody know. This man is yelling.
Yes, yes. This man is pissed. This man is at his breaking point, and absolutely, 100%. So let's jump over to the other screen here. Here we are, and here we go. Dave, what's your beef with Tony Moran? You're wrong about Tony Moran. I met him. and he's the nicest, sweetest, and most sincere dude on the planet. He gets an unfair shake. You and Sean Clark are wrong about him. By the way, did you see the videos on YouTube from someone calling you and Sean out? Why haven't you taken up the offer? You and Sean scared shitless? Come on! Tony is misunderstood, unappreciated, and not respected for the way he is with fans. He's got more class than a hooker's ass and more charm than you and Clark could ever dream of. You ever banged a hooker? I can't say that I have. Can't say that I have. You should bring Tony on your show, and then you'll see. He's the best, and even parties with the fans. I got shit-faced with him after a con, and we partied in my hotel room after. Everyone was fucking shirtless, bro. It was wild. No cocaine. No cocaine, but I tried to get some. But we didn't know it, but we didn't know anyone. Anyway, I just think you need to realize he's the real deal and a true gentleman. Would you do that? Would Clark? Would Nelson? Would Phil? Don't know who Phil is. I'm assuming Nelson is Chris Nelson, Academy Award winning Chris Nelson. Would you party with the fans like that? Probably not. So there's the proof right there. Michael fucking Myers parties with the fans. Think about that, dude. That's incredible. It was wild, and I can't wait to do it again. Tony is the real Michael Myers. He's the true face of evil. Show some goddamn respect, you fucking clown. He gives back to the fans in ways you and Clark don't. Talk to you later, 8374, whatever that means. P.S. Tony can arm wrestle to the shits. He kicked my ass. He's fucking ripped. It doesn't look like it. No, it doesn't. But he is. Later. Wow.
That is something, man.
Indeed it is. It is, this person is angry. This person is probably on cocaine while typing this message out, I would assume. So this is from Steve Tugnuts, who is not too happy about everything. So let me just jump back over to the other screen here. So what do you make of this, Sean?
Well, I guess we need to go through it and sort of break it down first, right?
Yeah. Well, that's a good idea. Let's jump back to the other screen. Let's break it down.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Start from the top.
I mean, let's just go through it piece by piece. I mean, first off, who is this person? I mean, part of me is like, is this Tony? Like, fucked up, like trying to, I don't know. Who knows? Part of it,
could be.
Actually is I'll be honest with you, it seems too well written to be Tony.
Okay.
Take that however you may. Yeah, let's see. Let's go here. Let's start off with by the way, did you see the videos on YouTube from someone calling you and Sean out?
Yes.
Why haven't you taken up the offer? Are you and Sean scared shitless? Come on. Now it's funny is Dave and I have talked about these videos that somebody keeps randomly putting up and they're with like a robot voice or something. It's like and there's just basically pictures of us and they're actually hilarious. I mean, I don't think they're serious at all. I don't know though. They're funny as hell.
Well, but it's funny because I got a message about how old are these videos now? Like a year and a half old, something like that. It's a while ago now.
Yeah, there's like 2 or 3 of them.
I think there's 3 of them. And somebody reached out to me and said, "Hey Dave, have you seen this?" And I was like, no, what is it? So it's a link. So I click on it and they're only like a minute long. And yeah it's that typical, I don't want to have my real voice on there because that would, out who I am or, whatever. And so
it's a weird, like British voice. It's like obviously a computer voice, but so why are you not, we challenge you to a, it's strange. But it's funny. It makes it funny.
It does. And there's a bunch of photos of us and they're angry because we didn't get back to them or something, or we didn't respond or some sort of message
Which
we didn't get
neither
back
of us
to?
have a clue what they're talking about.
No idea.
I respond to pretty much everybody that reaches out to me
No
on
idea.
social media in every form. So,
which is amazing, and I try to as best as I can. Admittedly, I sometimes it's hard for me to get back to everybody because of the amount of messages there are, and sometimes things are really long, which is why I always say to people, try to keep it short so it's easy for me to get back. But to your point, I haven't seen anything that would make me think it's because of that. It made me think it was something like we didn't answer during a stream or something, or some sort of question that we didn't answer during like I kind of got that vibe from it, not necessarily a personal DM, although I could be wrong.
But it's also seemed like whoever did it just seems very bitter and jealous. And like they kind of point out all our successes and like, you guys are big shots in Hollywood and blah 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 and all this crap, and then like, but I challenge you to, and he says he that's the thing, it doesn't actually say what he's challenging us to.
No, well,
he just says a showdown.
That's I was just gonna say, yes, a horror showdown, a showdown
horror
to end
showdown.
all showdowns.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but is he talking like Family Feud? Like,
yeah, is that you're talking about trivia or something? I mean, I'm down, bro. Bring it.
Yeah,
let's
do this. I assume that's maybe the guy that made those videos is the guy that wrote this.
They seem very different.
They do. They do.
One seems like a weird kind of obsessed nutty fan. The other one seems like a drunken, like fuck yeah bro kind of guy.
Yes.
They seem very different.
High on cocaine. But you're right. Those are the videos he's talking about, and there's three of them. There's three of them. I wonder if I can. I don't know if I can quickly.
Is there a way to actually play them? Because they're not long.
They're not long.
Funny.
Let me see if I can. They are. Let me see if I can. Hang on a sec here.
If you could put it up, that'd be great. These people would get a kick out of this.
Yeah. Okay. Here's. I don't know which one's first and which one's
first.
Anyways,
I don't know.
I'll just take this one. Okay. Let me just move. Okay, give me a second here. I'm going to move this over to the other screen.
But it is pretty funny though that this person has even seen that video, because they have hardly any views. Like nobody knows those videos exist.
No,
really.
No, they don't. They don't at all. All right, one sec here. Hang on a sec. Thought I was getting that in there.
And don't worry, guys. We will get to your comments here.
Oh yeah.
We're just trying to get through. We're starting out, throwing out the facts. Then we'll go down the list and
that's it.
And here we go.
Here we go. Okay, so this is the.
And they're different accounts too.
They are.
That's another thing.
Yep. Okay, here's the first one.
Dave McRae and Sean Clark are going down. Sean is some big Hollywood agent, and Dave McRae is some big voice actor, but they're not gonna win.
This is so stupid.
I'm going to expose them for the frauds they are. There's only so many times you can eat the silly meat. I'm tired of them not hearing me, and only listing the silly meat for a price of cabbage. Horror is their jam, but I know more about horror than a fat lady on a swivel stick. Just because Sean Clark and Dave McRae are busy living the dream, doesn't mean they can't return my calls. I'm human, god damn it. I deserve respect. Dave.
There we go. That's the first one. That's the first one. The audience heard that, right?
I can only see them. I can't hear them, but I've seen them before, so I'm just going off of how I remember them.
Right. All right, let me see here. Let me see if I can get the other one. Let me see. Oh, wait a sec here.
My dog's going nuts.
Let me see if I can get another one here.
Yeah, it's definitely a bot for sure.
Oh, it's got to be. So I did that one, and there's this one.
Okay,
one sec here. They're just so bloody stupid. Let's get this over here like that. One sec. Okay. All right. Oops. I need to hang on a sec here. See if I can grab this. Oh no, what happened? Oh, there we go. That's what I wanted to do. Anyway, one sec. Why is that messing up? That's messing up. Okay. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. All right, so this is the second one. Where are we here? Oh, there's my. Here you go.
Okay, I'm back again. Still no word from Dave McRae or Sean Clark. They're clearly too arrogant and pompous to respond back. So let me just tell you that both of these guys working in the entertainment business doesn't make them better than me, or anyone. They likely both make over 6 figures. So, surely they can't expect me to pay them for their time. They think they know everything there is to know about Halloween and horror. Well, Mr. Smadget Pants, I challenge both Dave McRae and Sean Clark to a horror showdown, a Halloween showdown, a convention showdown, a showdown to end all showdowns. Let's do a stream together. Mr. Clark thinks he's
This is the showdown
shit.
one.
He thinks he's the man. He's not. And Dave McRae may have turned out a hell of a Black Christmas film, but he's not Winston Ilmond III.
Whatever the hell that. There it is. There it is. There it is. I challenge Dave McRae and Sean Clark to a horror face-off. A horror face-off. Jeopardy style, maybe? Family Feud style? I don't know, but that's it. I challenge Dave McRae and Sean Clark to a horror face-off.
And then the third one was a different account.
The third one was a different account and a different voice.
Oh, was it?
Well, it was. I think it was another English voice, but I believe it was different.
Oh, I don't remember. I'm ready for this horror face.
I fucking am too. I want to just get this over with and do it up. All right, let me just get this one now and bring this one over. And da-da-da-dee. Yeah, this one over here. There we go. Okay. All right. One sec.
Strangely enough, I was watching the movie Face Off last night.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
That movie's so batshit.
Oh, I saw that in the theater when it came out.
Same here.
It was great. Back then, it was great. Does it still hold up?
I mean, it's terrible, but it's terrible in a good way.
Gotcha.
Like, it's just so ridiculous, you know.
Gotcha. All right, here's the third and final one.
Okay, it's been a while, but I'm back, and it's time to continue my exposure of Sean Clark and Dave McRae. These two work in the entertainment industry, and yet they are not very entertaining. They are fakes and like to sing sappy love songs to old ladies who gyrate their hips in nursing homes. Listen to me, Sean. It's time we settle the score and start this epic horror showdown, a showdown to end all showdowns. A showdown that will end all showdowns inside of many other showdowns. Bringing an epic conclusion to this showdown. You think you know horror, but I know more. And as for you, Dave McRae, you think just because you're a successful voice actor, you can walk all over people like cheese curds. I'm a better voice actor than you. You never returned my messages I sent to your agent, which shows me you're simply a fake. I need an agent, and they should be taking me on, not you, McRae. Let's get you and Sean in on this epic showdown. So what do you say, Sean and Dave? Or would you rather dance the night away in some old age home with Ruth and Helga?
So there you go. There you go. There's the situation.
Like, in the title, like he even says these so-called horror legends. It's like he's kind of complimenting us. It's like, you know, even to be called a so-called horror legends compliment.
There we go. That's better. Just moving that around.
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch because I couldn't hear any of them.
Yeah, that's okay. Oh no, you couldn't hear them? Oh, it's probably because it's not. Oh, okay.
Yeah, But I couldn't hear, so I was just looking at the.
Okay.
But yeah, he didn't do photo editing in that last one, which is disappointing.
He didn't. No, he did not do photo editing in that last one. He was, but he was talking about.
He got lazy.
He did. He got lazy, but he's talking. Yeah, he's pointing out, just because we're successful in our line of work, that doesn't mean we can't be. And I mean, I've never ever been rude or a dick to somebody who, was not rude or a dick to me. I mean, if you're a rude or a dick to me, well, that's different. You know what I mean? But I've never been rude or a dick to anybody just because. It's just so funny. It is so funny. Oh my God.
So I guess let's get back to the breakdown.
Yes. So
that's what he's referring to in the showdown, or the videos that somebody's calling us out, which is kind of hilarious that anybody would bring those up,
100%. 100%.
I mean, did he really watch those and go, yeah, man, I agree with this dude? I don't
Probably, especially if they were high on coke at the time.
All right. So next part, Tony's misunderstood, unappreciated, and not respected for the way he is with his fans. Okay.
I could play something here that could show you how he's with his fans. I mean,
so, do you guys see her tits?
So I'm just saying it's,
And that plays right into the next part. He's got more class than a hooker's ass and more charm than you and Clark could ever dream of. You ever banged a hooker? No. What where the hell does that? How does that even come into play? I don't even. I will say he's got more charisma than both of us combined.
Oh,
I mean,
light years.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude is.
I'm not even trying to challenge that.
No, he's
not going to do it.
He's got so much. I mean, he's
got more personalities than I could ever deal with.
Oh, his presence. Just when you walk into a room, his presence is intoxicating.
Yeah, when I walk into a room, nobody don't notice me until they see or hear me. He walks in, you can smell the alcohol. I mean, he has a, when he comes in.
Yeah, so. I mean, the gravitational pull is incredible.
Feel free to take the next part.
Yeah, so the next part says you should bring Tony on your show, and then you'll see. He's the best. He's the best, and even parties with the fans. You should bring Tony on your show. I mean,
I don't understand how bringing him on the show would show us that he parties with his fans. I don't. No. I mean, I do not doubt that he. I mean, I know he parties. He parties with his fans. He parties with anybody who's in the vicinity of him. I'm sure he parties with.
Yes.
So
yes.
He parties.
He parties, and he parties hard.
Nobody's disputing his party.
Nobody's disputing it.
So, do you guys see her tits?
I'm just saying, Nobody is disputing that he parties hard, and maybe loses all sense of self-awareness in the process. No, look, I mean, having Tony on the show on the channel would I don't know what that's going to prove. I mean, and I don't think he would ever come on anyway, because he would, I mean, really the reality, like my issue with Tony is not, I don't have the personal experience like Sean does. So my issue.
You haven't been physically threatened by him.
I haven't been physically threatened by him. I haven't been pointed at, and hey, that's a what did he say? That's a cunt right there.
Cunt. I'm a cunt.
Yeah, that's a cunt. Yeah. He's peacocking.
But I'm not peacocking. And I'm just.
That's right, peacocking. I don't have that. My issue was always like years. What was it? 2017. I think I did that first video or something where I just jumped on and I just was like, hey, this guy's the face of Michael Myers, and he
Own your role.
Own your role. That was the title of the video. I said, own your role. I said, you are the face of Michael. Yes, maybe it's only 5 seconds long, and yes, maybe you were never seen again, but it is one of the most important, iconic moments in the franchise. Own that role. Don't, mislead people into thinking that you are more than you really are, and whether that's through, your banner behind you or I can't tell you how many cons I've seen. Come meet Tony Moran. It's a picture of Nick Castle. So now that might not have anything to do with him. However, if that was me, if I saw that, the first thing I would do is be on the phone to the con going, hey, can you swap that photo out? Because I don't want to, because that's not me. So that was always my issue.
Every time I see him announced for a convention, it's a picture of Nick Castle.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that was always my issue way back. Just like, and then you reached out to me. I was like, well, have I got some stories for you? And I was like, interesting, fascinating. And so, there's a lot of interesting things that surround the man as he travels, and partying with fans topless in a hotel room, getting shit-faced, looking for coke, and hoping that some hookers are there, I guess, is part of it. I don't know. So yeah, but I mean, having him on the channel, I mean, he's not gonna want to come on the channel, and for what? Why? Why?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I don't know too many dudes that brag about partying in a hotel room shirtless with Tony Moran. I mean, I don't know what you guys are all into. You do your thing. Equal opportunity. Everybody's entitled to their, live their lives the way they like.
That's true.
I don't know what's going on in them hotel rooms, but
Hey, you know what? Not that there's anything wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong.
There's
with
nothing
that.
wrong with
There's
that.
nothing.
It's just,
Tony does Tony, man. That's
that's
how,
it. That's it.
Be yourself, bro.
That's
be
it.
proud.
That's it.
This is the time to be proud. Right now is the time.
That's it.
This is your moment.
Maybe, yeah, 100%. And maybe it's a situation where, I imagine that I don't know. I mean, I
will go on the record to say, yes, you are correct. He goes the extra mile. I will not be partying shirtless in other dudes' hotel rooms.
Fair enough.
I'm a little bit more of a professional.
I have a price.
I keep it classy.
I have a price.
So.
No. I can be bought. No. No, look, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I cannot help but think that the people he's partying with are probably fans in their 20s. Fans in their
as fucked up as he is.
Yeah, and fans that are maybe in their 20s, maybe. I mean, I can't, not that it does, but I have trouble believing that these are grown-ass men in their 40s or their 50s that are just like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Let's fucking do that. It just feels like a juvenile thing to do, right? And a very,
I mean, I just love how the guy says there was no cocaine, but I tried to get some,
right.
But we didn't know anyone.
Right.
Okay.
Well, but isn't that something that on that podcast, that infamous podcast that is not out there at the moment, he said something, or he alluded to something like that in there, right? He said something like, I wanted some, but it wasn't there.
The other drunk guy said to Tony, are you doing cocaine? And Tony said, nah, bro. I wish. He said, I wish like 5 times. And then he said, I'm in Indiana right now. I don't know anybody here for that. And it's like,
right.
Okay. So it was like, you just basically publicly admitted that that's something you do regularly.
100.
Which, hey, again, live your life, bro. Tom Sizemore did.
Yes, exactly. Whatever. Look,
he lived it to the fullest.
Look, man, whatever makes you happy, whatever floats your boat, as long as you're not, like, as far as I'm concerned, as long as everything's consensual and you're not doing anything with children, knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. Whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? But So the next part here, yeah. Have I ever banged a hooker? No. Oh no. That was before. You've been Tony on your show. I got shit faced with him. It's in a hotel room, fucking shirtless. My question is, was it just the two of you that were shirtless, or was it everybody? I guess it doesn't really matter.
Were the lights low? Or is there sexy music on?
Yeah, it was.
Let us know some more details.
Saxophone playing, maybe. Anyway, I just think you need to realize he's the real deal and a true gentleman. Would you do that? Would Clark?
A true gentleman. Cue the clip. A true gentleman.
Do you guys see her tits?
For those of you that may be unaware, because there's still a lot of people that don't know about it.
He's got a $50 super chat, bro. Fuck.
Nice. Just that's it. Whoever sent that in, I'll send you.
We'll get to all those.
We will.
Don't worry, we will.
So I got distracted there. That sound bite that I keep playing is from a podcast that he did, which was pretty wild. It's no longer online. It was taken down, which I understand why, and I respect that. But
well, there was nudity.
There was nudity in it. Yeah, there was nudity. It was
Fancy Nancy.
Fancy Nancy. Yeah, I got Fancy Nancy. Peacocking. It was a long diatribe of attacking Sean, James Jude Courtney. It was a whole thing, and
a lot of homophobia.
There's
all kinds of stuff going on in there.
Yeah, just understand that this bite here.
So, do you guys see her tits?
Is just really the tip of the iceberg. So
now this is, mind you, homophobia coming from the guy that parties with other dudes shirtless in hotel rooms
and arm wrestles.
Just saying.
Yeah, there might be some
stuff he's holding in there that he needs to let out.
It could there could and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I mean,
there isn't. Like I said,
your true self.
2023. This is your time, bro.
This is it. Oh,
dude,
100%.
It's all about rainbows and unicorns. Make it happen, Tony. Come out.
Yep, I agree. And then we have, what do we got here?
Otherwise, let's go, bro. Let's go. Sorry. You got to see the video if you haven't seen the video.
No. Well, I've seen it, but nobody else has, I don't think. And like I said, I've sat on it for a long time. I've thought about doing something on the channel where, but it's just, I don't want to, this is a guy that's clearly got a lot of issues, and I also don't want it to come across like but man, it's fucking good. It might be worth it anyway. I don't know. We have, let's see here. Would you do that, Clark? I mean,
no, I would not.
No, of course not. And I wouldn't either. Nelson, I'm assuming talking about Christopher Nelson.
He would not either.
No, but Phil might.
We don't know who Phil is, so
we don't.
Phil might.
But Phil might. Yeah, would you party with the fans like that? No, probably not. So there's the proof right there. Michael fucking Myers parties with the fans. Think about that, dude. That's incredible. It was wild, and I can't wait to do it again.
Well, first off, I don't drink. I mean, I occasionally will have a sip here and there. At best, I'll have a drink socially maybe every couple months. But I really don't drink. I've never tried a drug in my life.
Right.
I'm proud to say. I've
Same.
never smoked a cigarette.
Same.
Never smoked pot.
Same.
Just never interests me. So would I party with fans like that? No, absolutely not, because I don't party. So there's your answer. So no fight there.
No, and
I surrender.
Yeah, and it's the same with me. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I never have. Literally, and I'm right there. Like literally, I've never had a cigarette or a joint in my mouth. I've never been high in my life.
Same here.
When I was a teenager, I was very, I played hockey, I ran, I lifted weights. I was very sort of, conscious of that kind of stuff. And then, you get to a certain age where it's like, well, I mean, it'd be lame to start now, and I have no desire to do it. So, and alcohol, I'll have like a drink every now and then. But I'm not a drinker per se. I mean, with somebody with my personality, I don't really need it to, loosen up or fit in. But yeah, so no, the answer would be no. I mean, I certainly would not party with, fans at a hotel room shirtless.
No, I'm not even going to hang out with fans shirtless in a hotel room. I mean, it's just
cue the TMZ.
Yeah, you don't really see me shirtless. Period.
No. I've only seen you shirtless once, and that was in the ghost video where you came down the stairs and that weird ghost thing. When your dog passed away.
I was shirtless, wasn't I?
Yeah. That's it. That's it, folks. So all you out there that want a little something, you'll have to go find that video on Sean's channel.
Yeah.
And then he ends here by saying, Tony is the real Michael Myers. He is the true face of evil. Show some goddamn respect, you fucking clown. He gives back to the fans in ways you and Clark don't. That is true. That is true.
From what we just heard about what's going on in that hotel room, that is definitely true.
There are definitely things that I would not give back in that way.
Yeah. No.
8374. What do you think that means? The amount of fans he's given back to.
Let's get to the last part here.
Oh, yeah.
Tony can arm wrestle to the shits. Does that mean he arm wrestles till he shits himself? I don't know what that means. He kicked my ass. He's fucking ripped. It doesn't look like it, but he is.
Certainly doesn't look like it.
Cool. Not something I would normally bring up about, any other dudes, but whatever you guys are into, what's going on in that hotel room after hours with alcohol and potentially cocaine is none of my business.
It's none of mine either.
Do you?
Yep. You do you. You do it to the best you that you can be.
The shirtless face of evil.
I'm just imagining. I'm trying to picture him sitting there topless, arm wrestling and maybe this guy is like, he's 23 and he's 5'10" and 110 pounds or something. And maybe he's really, really. I mean, that image for whatever reason is hilarious to me. But yeah, I mean, this is ripped. He's
gold.
Ripped.
It's gold.
It is gold. It's gold. I mean, it's up there with those three videos and yeah.
What do you think Fancy Nancy's with him? Definitely not because of his personality. It's because he's ripped.
100%. Well, maybe this is Fancy Nancy. Maybe Steve Tugnuts is Fancy Nancy.
Ooh. There's a chance.
Interesting.
I don't think so.
No, I doubt it. She'd probably not be in all caps. So, yeah, I mean, I've thought about responding, but this video really is.
This is the response.
This is the response. Exactly.
Although you should just write him back and say, totally agree with you, bro. Peace out.
Yes.
Talk to you later. Say hi to Phil for me.
Right. I want to know who this Phil is. Charam, who the hell is Phil? Is there another YouTube personality in the space named Phil or something in the horror space or something like that? I don't know.
No idea who he's talking about.
No idea. Maybe he's.
So you want to go through some?
Let's do it.
Run through some of these questions.
Let's do it. Let me go over to the
back here. See if anybody has anything good.
Let me just let's see if we can get the
super chats in first.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, Josh McKenna sends in a very generous super chat of $49.99. Thank you, Josh. Really appreciate that. Says, have you seen any episodes of Handmaid's Tale? A talented actress named Malaika Henney is in a few episodes. Yes, Malaika Henney was in our It's Me, Billy, our Black Christmas fan film. She's in a few episodes of the Handmaid's Tales. It shoots here in Toronto. I don't know why that name sounds familiar. Haha. In all seriousness, it's great. She's getting more projects. I love that for her. I could not agree more. Malaika has been working a lot actually since we shot It's Me, Billy, and it's great to see her moving up and up and up and up and up. So yeah, that's awesome stuff. And thank you, Josh. Really, really appreciate that kind of support. Thank you. The classically deceased sends in $10 and says, Tony,
That's my boy right there.
the classically deceased.
Yeah.
Love the name. Tony Moran blocked me on his Facebook last year when I called him out on his shit. That's too bad. And it makes
disappointing.
It is disappointing. And it makes me happy knowing the real face of Michael Myers blocked me. Anyways, can't wait for It's Me, Billy, too. Thank you, buddy. Really appreciate that. I haven't been blocked. I don't even know. I'm sure he's aware of the videos I've done. I mean, if Danielle Harris...
man.
Well, listen, Danielle Harris...
Unless there's free cocaine involved, I don't know if he pays attention.
Well, that's a good point, Sean. That is a good point. I'll have to offer that.
I wonder if Danielle Harris has seen his newest video. She needs to come save him again. He needs help.
Yeah, he's not. Or I was going to say that. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question because the video was only up for like 48 hours, maybe, and then it was taken down. Something like that.
There's the edited version that can be seen on Dead Pit's channel, where they kind of just picked pieces of it, but it was 2.5 hours of just complete, just nonsense.
Right. I still have the entire, what is it, 3 hours or whatever it is. I did go in and, well, I sent you those clips. I went in and I sectioned off the real juicy parts just to have it, just in case I ever wanted to do anything with it because it's so juicy. But
you even said at the time it was so that this video was so bad, even you didn't want to put it up.
Well, it's true. And that is 100% true. And a few people, said, are you going to do anything with it? And I'm like, I want to because it's so juicy. It's like a journalist having some sort of, piece of information where it's like, well, this is gonna fucking sell papers tomorrow morning. But at the same time, I'm like, but it's so bad that I don't want it to come across like I'm exploiting somebody who's like sick. Do you know what I mean? Or like really down, and there I am going, and I'm just like,
but that is kind of what we're doing.
It is kind of, well, it is, but it's indirect because we have a message from a third party.
Yeah. So we're unfortunately we're having to revisit those video moments to explain this letter.
Exactly. That's why I said at the top of the show, don't shoot the messenger. This was sent to me. I didn't ask for it. This was sent to me, and it was really juicy. And that's why I decided to, or we decided to jump on and talk about it. But you're right. You are right. I did think about, and I still have it. I still could do something. But yeah, it was so bad. If you haven't seen it, it's bad. It's like he tags.
Yeah, it makes a lot of the other clips look tame. If you can believe that.
Oh yeah.
If you can actually believe that that's possible.
Yeah. It's insane how
that he went from, all that, he took all that shit when that video came up, that compilation video. And then, somebody like Danielle Harris tried to come in and rescue him. And for a second there, for a split second there, I thought he could actually pull himself out of this,
I actually thought that
and
too.
He could have.
Yeah.
Had he made a public apology and said, hey, all he had to do was lie and say, I need to get help and I'm looking for treatment. Dude, everybody would have forgave him.
Yeah.
But instead, he double downs on everything and just gets worse.
Well, Yeah. And after that happened, after I saw that video, I made the couple of videos that I did about it. And then I was informed that Danielle Harris had in her Instagram post had quasi reached out to me. I mean, she didn't reach out to me directly, but she said in her Instagram post, Dave, if you want to talk about it, whatever. So I reached out to her and I was like, okay, well, maybe I can get you and Tony on. That would be interesting.
How far did that go?
I didn't go anywhere. I never heard from her.
Of course. It was about as, genuine as her helping Tony video was.
Yeah. So but you're right. I'm with you. When that happened, when that whole thing went down like a year and a half ago, I remember thinking, oh, you know what? Something might happen here. Like Tony might actually
this could be a rebirth.
Yeah, like
this could be a comeback.
100%. I thought that there was something that was going on where I was, because the video was like, to be fair, a lot of the things that Tony said in the video are true, but the video was edited and there were some things that were left out that would have given a little bit of context to some of the things he was saying.
And I agree. And I've even agreed with that.
Correct.
I've even gone on record to say that I think it was, I mean,
well, it was
although
a hit piece.
lot of the statements he made,
Yeah.
but there were a few things in there that it was edited in a way to make him look even worse.
Correct.
No, does it forgive the things he said? No.
Correct.
But, but I do agree it was edited, but the person who put that up also put the links to all the original videos so you could go watch them for yourself.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. The one,
but
the one that was the most surprising to me was not the one where he was talking about Halloween nerds and fans and things like that. Well, and I guess accusing Jamie Lee Curtis of being, a slut on set and, banging everybody.
John Carpenter being a woman abuser.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's bad. That's really bad. But it's that unedited video where he's suddenly attacking Tyler Mane and calling him all sorts of, things.
For no reason.
For no reason at all. The same thing he does to James Jude Courtney.
James Jude Courtney.
Correct. It's completely like, what? Like, what? And how he believes that James Jude Courtney was only hired because he's looks like Tony Moran, which is utterly ridiculous.
Completely absurd.
Completely
absurd.
Completely absurd.
And they look nothing alike.
Nothing. They're both bald. That's as far as it goes.
Yeah, that's about the extent of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, but I'm with you that at that time, I remember thinking, geez, you know what? There was something that was going on. It was the way that I don't think he issued an apology, but it was something like he had, I don't know. There was something, I don't know if it was the video he did with Danielle or if it was, I don't know what it was. There was something that was going on and something he had said or posted or something, right? I just remember thinking maybe this is, he's going to reach out to you and, make amends and,
which
whatever
is
the case
crazy
is.
because I brought this up on that other show. He did reach out to me. He did about 2 months before this new video surfaced. His convention manager reached out to me and said that he wanted to squash things and blah, blah, blah. And I kind of looked at it as he heard about the H45 convention and he hears Jamie might be coming and he's trying to figure out, he starts thinking of this.
Right.
And, so it happened when I was in an airport getting ready to board a plane. And I just told the guy, I said, obviously it's a lot to absorb. I need to think about this. And I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I could let this go. And, if he's genuine, I could, but then immediately after that, 2 weeks later, somebody showed me something he posted bashing me again. And then this other video comes. So he clearly, it depends on how much he's took that day, I think.
Well, it's funny too. The story he tells on that podcast is like 95% false and 5% true. Because I remember you telling me about that story 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. And when I heard him tell the story, I remember thinking, well, that's not how it went down. That's you weren't
talking about him yelling
in the lobby, right?
Yeah.
Right. Because
Nick Castle will tell you the story. He was standing right there.
Right. Because you told me that you were with Nick waiting for Tommy Lee Wallace to come down. Yeah. And his
story
version,
is I was peacocking for fans.
Right. You were with a couple or something or a bunch of fans.
Yeah.
Sometimes part of me wonders if he's deliberately lying, misleading, knowing that he's fudging everything, or if that really is his recollection because of all the substance abuse. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying maybe he really does think you were standing there with fans.
I got to run to the bathroom real quick. Go on to the next super chat. I'll be right back.
No problem. All right. Super chat from Nighttime sends in $5. Says, Dave, Tom Savini stated he hates Halloween 1978 because the opening killer POV was too high and Too high and done wrong, and Bob being stabbed to the door was unbelievable. Yes, you're talking about the Tom Savini interview over on Sean's channel from last week. I watched that show, great episode. And yeah, look, I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. I mean, Savini, but Tom Savini also said this a couple of times, right? He's talking specifically from a practical special effects standpoint, right? So he's looking at it that is this plausible? Is this how it actually would be? Because he wants to instill some sort of sense of realism. Like it's that, it's a slasher movie, right? It's a low budget slasher movie, but he wants to kind of ride that line where it still feels plausible. And this is kind of what would happen. A butcher knife holding up a body to the wall of a 185-pound man. That's not going to happen. I mean, I've talked about that on my channel. To the average fan, does it bother you? No, it doesn't really bother you because you can suspend your, disbelief, and there's some, there's an aura of supernatural mystique around the character in the movie, so you just sort of buy into it. But I get it from Savini's perspective, looking at it from a realistic, special effects practical standpoint. He's not wrong, so we were just
talking about Savini's dislike for Halloween.
Yeah. And I was just saying that, I mean, he's not wrong. But he's looking at it from the perspective of a, special effects makeup artist, practical sort of point of view. I get it.
Yeah. I also noticed a comment in there somewhere somebody asked also, in addition to that, why do we not bash Tom Savini for shitting on the Halloween franchise? And he's also not he's not out there just making money off of that. I mean, I don't care if he bashes, I don't care if Tony Moran bashes the film. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion of a movie.
Correct.
But when you start bashing the people that love the film and are giving you money because they love the film, that's different. That's very different.
100%. Yeah. No,
nobody comes up to Tom Savini. I know Tom Savini hates the New York Ripper. Okay. Or right. Is it New York Ripper or the Ripper? I can't remember. I think it's a New York Ripper. It is one of his films that he hates it with a passion. But I don't think he would, if a fan walked up and asked for that DVD to be signed, I don't think he would tell them, you're a fucking moron. You're going to go home and jerk off to this,
No.
I mean,
no, he wouldn't. So, no, you're right. Look, and that goes back to, again, I don't know the man, but that goes back to my original, what was my original beef, right? Which was, hey, this guy, he's the face, and he's not correcting interviewers when they say, so what was it like working with, I don't know, Jamie Lee Curtis, in this scene or something, and he wasn't in that scene, and he goes off as if he is. And it's my issue and your issue. I mean, you have more issues with him because obviously with the history of the relationship, but my issue has always been just the way he misleads the fans, he misleads the audience. If he came out and said, you know what, it's a movie I did 45 years ago, I've moved on from it, I'm not really a big fan of it, I don't really remember much. If you love it, that's great, but it's not for me. Well, that's fine. Even if he said, I actually think it's a really shitty movie, yeah, that's fine too. Now, that would be weird to then go off and do conventions knowing that information. But if he wasn't doing conventions and he just was out there saying, I don't really like it, that's fine. But to Sean's point, when you're attacking people personally, even fellow Halloween alum like Tyler Main and James Jude Courtney, why are you doing that? It's completely unprovoked. It doesn't make any sense. That really is part of the problem. I mean, you're sitting there in front of Halloween fans at a convention, calling them, nerds and not in that affectionate sort of way where like we're all in on it because we're all nerds. No, he's like, he's in that position of authority being, talking down to them. Right. And it's just like, what the hell's going on here?
I see a comment from Nikki Nearson. And she said, he ruined my friend in the horror community. So to me, he's poison. Can you expand upon that, Nikki? I'm curious what that means.
Please do. Please expand on that. Daniel Carosone, I believe is how you pronounce that. Thank you, Daniel. It says,
another friend of mine.
Nice. Well, welcome, Daniel. Says, good evening, guys. Great to see you. And sends in a $4.99 super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that, man. And great to see you too. Nighttime follows up with another super chat, $5. Says, I see where Tom Savini's heart is, but Victor Miller and producers already came out and stated that the Friday the 13th was definitely inspired by Halloween. Oh yeah, that's common knowledge. I mean, that's absolutely correct. That's correct.
Another reason to not shit on Halloween, because if it wasn't for Halloween, Friday the 13th probably wouldn't exist.
That is very true. Agreed. Sean McCarney sends in £4.99 and says, I spoke to Tony on MySpace back in 2007, and he was cool until he started talking about Jamie Lee Curtis in her underwear. Then it got creepy.
I remember that. He hasn't told that story in a long time, but I remember that was a story he told early on.
How would he have a run-in with Curtis in her underwear?
He said that the story he told was the night he was on set that Jamie wanted to meet him before they filmed.
Oh,
and
right.
And he was invited to her dressing room, and when he came in, she was wearing nothing but panties and a bra. And
that makes no sense.
It's
very unprofessional.
I think it's all bullshit, but anyway.
I think you're right. It doesn't, I mean,
I've
listen,
never heard him tell the story again, really. So you think that's one, especially with new, I'll say anything for shock value, Tony, he would be throwing that one down, and, she would be butt naked by this point in his, embellishments of stories.
Well, and, when I think of Jamie Lee Curtis, I mean, obviously you know her, I've never met her, but when I think of her and I think of how liberal she can be and outgoing she can be, I mean, it's plausible, but when I think of her at that time, she's new, it's her first feature film. She was worried that she was even, fired after that first day. I cannot see her suddenly just showing up to a stranger's dressing room, a male at that, in her bra and panties, and just be like, hi, I'm playing Laurie. I mean, I just fucking spat all over the place. I'm playing Laurie. Like, I'm like, it sounds like a bit of a, exaggerate or a complete fabrication of what
dude was probably happened on set for about an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to be, honestly.
Carpenter, I think Carpenter said he didn't even remember him.
Yeah. He didn't remember him at all. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think I've got all the super chats. No, wait. Hang on. I thought I did, but another one comes in here. From Greg Harris, sends in $1.99. Thanks, Greg. Says, Sean, will you be at Full Moon Con in Nashville?
I will. With Chris Nelson, and neither of us will be partying in anybody's hotel rooms shirtless.
That's disappointing.
But we'll definitely be at the show, and would love to talk to anybody and everybody who wants to. Even come challenge us to a showdown, an epic showdown to end all showdowns.
I'm just imagining you and I on this, Jeopardy style panel, and I got, the buzzer, and we're, oh, fuck, God damn it. And we were hitting the buttons, trying to, whatever. In the form of a question now. Fuck. Well, I mean, I'm ready. I'm down to do this horror showdown, epic showdown to end all showdowns. I'm
going through the rest of these questions.
Has what's her face elaborated yet on?
I don't know. I'm going through the ones above that. Still. Okay. Nighttime said, Sean, you looking good, bruh. Okay, thanks. Nice. Two shirtless dudes and some bullshit. That's pretty funny. Another guy keeps stating he drank with Tony Moran in Pittsburgh. You and half of Pittsburgh probably.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The details of the message are totally believable. 100%. Jim Neighbors says, Sean, if you could do filming location of Club Jezebel in Anaheim, that place has a lot of metal history, including the famous Metallica.
I used to go to Jezebel's in the 80s. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I've thought about doing some, because I did a LA kind of an 80s LA kind of music tour thing one time that surprisingly people really enjoyed. I should probably do an Orange County one too at some point of my old haunts, places I used to play, places I used to go see bands play. It might only interest a small number of people, but who knows?
That'd be cool. Horrors Hallowed Grounds. I said it right.
Yeah.
Horrors Hallowed Grounds, because it's got the two S's on either end of the first and third word. So sometimes it gets tricky. AK Channel TV sends in $4.99, says James, Jude, Courtney, and Tyler are physically huge. I wonder why he feels so confident in bashing them. Has he ever said it to their faces? Why is he so aggressive? He's never said it to their faces. Well, you actually showed the clip to James, Jude, Courtney, right?
I did, yeah. And his reaction was he just kind of said, it's sad. He said it's just sad how screwed up the dude is. I mean, that's pretty much what he said. He didn't get mad. He didn't like, I'll fuck that guy up. He was just like, wow, that's sad. This guy's got problems. So it's
because James Jude Courtney is full of integrity and class, and he's
he ever banged a hooker?
I don't know. Let's bring him on, ladies and gentlemen. James Jude Courtney. No, it's not.
What's funny is he's gonna be here at my house tomorrow.
Oh, well, there you go. You could ask him the question.
We should have done this tomorrow. He could have been a special guest.
Damn it! If I had known that, if the burning question, if he's ever, well, you can get it as a little short and upload it.
Yeah. So Tony, if you want to have a showdown to end all showdowns, come by my house tomorrow.
There it is.
Talk to both of us.
There it is. Well, and you even pointed out that James Jude Courtney and Tony Moran are the same age. And,
they are.
One is really physically fit, and one, well, apparently is really ripped, but just doesn't look like it.
He's secretly hiding his rippedness. I don't know why he's hiding it from us. Unless you're partying with him after hours, then you get to find out the truth.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get to that stage. You have to be able to 6 beers at the bar, 4 more beers in the hotel room, and then you get to see it.
The night Mark Beer wrote Tony Moron the night he came home shirtless and high.
Oh, man. F Base says, hey, Sean, when are you going to get the original chainsaw from the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Keep hearing that a private collector owns it, but it's hard for me to believe it still exists. I think it's gone.
Well, first off, if a private collector owns it, why is he going to sell it to me? I mean, who knows? I don't know anybody who has it. I don't know where it is. If I was able to verify it was real, and somebody was offering it to me, I'd definitely consider it, but I have no clue. I don't know anybody that knows who might have it.
I would imagine that would be would that be difficult to authenticate?
It might be, especially with so many people deceased now. I mean, even if you brought it to Toby Hooper, who knows if he would know, I mean, it's, that's tough, especially because unlike the one from part 2 and 3, they didn't do anything to it. It was pretty much a straight off the shelf bought chainsaw. So people could buy a vintage chainsaw and claim it's the real thing. At least the one from part 2, they repainted it, and there's certain markings, like I was able to match up mine. And obviously the one from part 3 was custom,
Right.
So,
yeah, there's a lot of, and nowadays too, I mean, there's a lot of really talented artists that can replicate, really, some real authentic shit. And maybe not, I mean, you're quite perceptive and astute and, you can pick up on that shit, but the average person, who's not a collector and who hasn't been through this time and time again and looks for that, the average person might be able to get fooled, because they're not focusing on those tiny nuances of, those things. And That would be amazing if you were able to get it, though. That'd be a cool prize.
Yeah, I'm not.
Sure.
I mean, believe me, I never thought in a million years I'd own one of them, let alone two.
Yeah.
I'm fine with what I got. I don't need to have every chainsaw from every chainsaw film.
I'm jealous of your Poltergeist clown doll.
I do love
That's
that.
fucking great.
I am in the process of obtaining a few other juicy items that I'll be able to talk about eventually.
Yes, I love it. Stephen Dowdy says, correct me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't the original face of Michael Myers be Will Sandon from the first scene of age 7-8 who plays Michael at age 6? I'd rather see him at the convention.
He's the first. He is the
technically
original face of Michael Myers. He's the very first on-screen Michael Myers ever.
He is.
So,
he is.
And if you want to meet him this weekend, he is at Creature Features Weekend in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania right now.
Incredible. But do not expect to party with him shirtless in your hotel room.
No, he will not be doing that. It's funny. He was there. He was there during the second cunt incident with Tony. Later
Really?
that night, after dinner, when we came back to the bar, he yelled it at me again, drunk in the bar, and I was hanging out with Will. And as I remember specifically, Will was telling me goodnight. He was going to go to bed. And then the incident happened. And then Will goes, maybe I'll hang out, just make sure everything's cool. Because Will is jacked. Okay. Will is actually quite physically fit young man. And I was like, dude, it's cool. I don't need you to protect me. I'm not intimidated whatsoever by this guy. So I'm good. So I said, you can head off to bed. So, and just like everything else, nothing happened, just a lot of, he likes to say I peacock. Well, what would be the term for that? Just having a lot of vibrato and not backing it up. I don't know what that is. But.
I guess just a lot of sort of showmanship, a lot of talk, not a lot of walk, maybe. I don't know.
It could be considered peacocking, right? Maybe he was peacocking.
I think he was peacocking. Absolutely.
Because I didn't address him. He pointed at me and yelled cunt. I think that's
true.
Peacocking.
You were just minding your own business, waiting to go out.
He's trying to reverse
dinner.
peacock me.
He was. He
cool.
was. He was. Fancy Nancy. That should be the title of a film. Where Nomad has gone before sends in $2, says, does Moran think he was the only Myers in Halloween?
Well, that is a statement he made in that video, that he's the only one who's actually ever played Michael Myers and that he's the only one that was ever credited as playing Michael Myers. But if he had actually taken the time to do any research, he would find that there's only about, I think, 3 Halloween films that they're credited only as The Shape.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
every other one is credited as Michael Myers. But again, in his brain that's floating in alcohol, these are the things that he believes.
Well, it's semantics at the end of the day, right? I mean, like technically, right? And because it's like, oh, come on. Okay. All right. Yes. All right. Nick Castle was credited as The Shape. You were credited as Michael Myers. Okay. But it's still Michael Myers. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, it's more of he's just looking for that win. He's stretching it, trying to find that win, which is, obviously a sign of desperation. Don Larson just sends in $10. Thank you, Don. Appreciate that. And it says, this is the first super chat from Don Larson. Well, thank you, Don. Thank you for your very first super chat. And then
I see one. Chester Franklin Jr. said, Sean, do you like George P. Wilbur, Nick Castle, and Dick Warlock as Michael? For me, I like all 3 of them. My favorite Myers. George was a sweet guy. I really liked him. Rest in peace. But he, I believe, is my least favorite Myers of all time. I just thought he looked like a board. He was too stiff. he looked like this all the time. Like, but Nick and Dick are my two favorites, and not just because they rhyme. Marco said Sean missed you at Monster Mania last week. It was weird not seeing you. It was weird not being there. But I needed a weekend off. I've got a crazy schedule coming up. So
amazing. Super chat from Phil Phillips. Hey, maybe this is Phil. Maybe, hey, Phil has entered the room, ladies and gentlemen. Phil is probably late and doesn't know what the hell we're talking about. Sends in $2. Thank you, Phil. Says, Tony is the Hulk Hogan of horror, self-hyping.
Yeah,
I guess from a certain perspective, I could see that.
Well, I mean, I think Kane Hodder hypes himself more than Tony does. But at least Kane has something to back it up with, having played Jason 4 times and Hatchet, and, he is a legit icon.
100%. Yeah.
But, as far as somebody that's out there kind of pumping their chest out going, I am horror, Kane definitely does that, but he deserves the respect.
I remember you telling a story when you first started to, years ago, because you were the one that, you are like, the Frankenstein here. You're the one that found Tony. He was doing insurance years and years ago. And
mortgages,
excuse me.
Yeah.
And you had said that when, I don't know if it was Tony's first con or whatever, but you were sitting with him at his table, and the guests were asking some sort of questions or whatever, clearly not about Tony's role. Like they were mistaking Tony for being Nick Castle, essentially. Yeah. Not literally, but
I can tell you exactly clear. I remember clear as day one incident where a fan walked up and was telling Tony how great he was, and he goes, "Oh, that scene where you're chasing Jamie across the street, and that's you were awesome in that." And he just kept going, "Yeah, thanks." He wouldn't, and I'm looking at him like, "You're not going to tell him that wasn't you, And then after the fan walked away, I said to him, "Hey man, don't you think you should say, that wasn't me?" And he's on, nah. He goes, "They don't care. It's all the same. It's all the same to them." I'm like, not really, but okay, Yeah. And I remember feeling like I was in a really uncomfortable position. Like, okay, well, I work for this guy. That's the one thing, even though Convention All-Stars is my company and I'm my own boss, technically all of my clients are, my boss in a way, Well,
correct.
If Norman Reedus says you need to do something, I need to do it because I work for him. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
So it was a weird position to be in, to be like, ooh, I'm disagreeing with how this guy is doing this. But at the same time, I can't tell him, I can only say, hey, maybe you should do this. And when he says no, I just got to shut up and sit there, So it was definitely a conflicting position to be in, and I didn't feel good about it. Right. Now, mind you,
and it was easier to get away with then too, because this is what a couple of years before you were able to bring Nick into the convention circuit.
Which he claims I brought him in to. What did he say? He said that I did it to ruin him, or to. He made some comment that basically alluded to the fact that I was bringing him in, and that would debunk all the lies he was telling. He kind of told on himself for the way he said it. Right.
Yeah, it was something like that. Something like that. But it was easier for him to, and especially at that time, right? I mean, conventions weren't new, but this kind of thing was still picking up steam, celebrities going to conventions, signing autographs. It wasn't unheard of, but, back in 07, 06, I mean, this was still kind of a new thing that people were doing on this level. And so it was easier for him to be just the Michael Myers, and then it got harder and harder as time went on, and more alum started to, attend these things. And now, and that was my whole point. Like, dude, you're the face, man. You're the face. That's just own that. I mean, yeah, you're going to have some people, I don't care about him, he's just the face. Okay, fine. That's fine. But there are people that care about that specifically because of that. you know, and I just always thought he should just own it. And you know, it's too bad because he feels, I mean, I'm not diagnosing, but I can only speculate that he started to do it. Yeah. And you could just say, well, he's just a fucking dick. Sure. Yep. That's probably part of it. But also, obviously, he knows his role is very small and he feels inadequate. He feels intimidated by, I mean, there's that panel that he was on with Kane Hodder, Robert Englund, and
Gunnar Hansen?
Yes, I think it was, yes. And then you got Tony Moran as Michael Myers up there. And I can only imagine what that must have felt like inside, sitting there with, you know, legit horror legends that were playing these roles on screen at, you know, at every moment.
Guys that could tell stories about the entire filming process versus
Correct.
a guy that was only there one night.
Correct. And I think he just, again, I mean, yes, there's certainly part of him that obviously is probably an absolute dick, for sure. I mean, you look at the things he said to you and, you know, all the things he's tried to do. But deep inside, he felt that he needed to create the illusion that he was more successful than he really was, because he loved the attention and he didn't want to disappoint. The irony of it is that had he just owned his role, people still would have flocked to him. You know, you still would have got the same attention because people were like, hey, that's the face of Michael Myers. That's really cool. I want that. Because crazy rabid fans want everything. They want every little detail. They want the, you know, the shoe shine guy in the background in scene 6. You know, they want this, they want that, they want this, they want that, they want this. So to have the face of Michael Myers, I mean, yeah, Tony, it wouldn't have mattered. You didn't have to pretend to be, you know, Nick and Tommy. You know, I mean, it's crazy. Crazy.
I see my good friend Colin Murdy is here.
Oh, yes,
And,
Colin, yes.
He said, hey, Sean, would you ever do a Christine or Near Dark Horrors Hallowed Grounds episode? Would love to see those. I've shot a Near Dark episode already. I started editing it, and then I realized one of the locations was wrong. And after doing some more research, I found, with the help of my good friend Paul Hassenauer, found the correct location, and I need to go back to Arizona to shoot that. Once I get that, I'll get that one out. And then Christine, I've started filming. Not much. I think I just did maybe just Arnie's house. That might have been it. I was over in the area and I said, oh, I'm going to grab this because I know I'm doing the episode.
Right.
I was pretty disappointed, though, to find out that the freeway overpass where Moochie is being chased, that whole thing was torn down and redeveloped. I went there years ago. I have photos that I'll probably add into the episode, but I didn't know that was all gone. I'm bummed.
Right. That's too bad.
And I did get into the school where the machine shop was, where the auto shop. Yeah. I got in there, and I doubt today I'd be able to get back in there, but I do have photos. But those are coming.
Have you done Elm Street 2 yet?
No.
I love Elm Street 2. Scary Freddy. Frank Riker sends in $5. Hello, Frank, from the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast, one of my great moderators here. Says
he's a good dude. Frank's a good dude.
Great dude. Says Deborah Hill's
ball powder, I think.
Well, hey, you know what? He hasn't bought me ball powder, so it's well, a little disappointed there, Frank.
Good stuff.
Says Deborah Hill's hands have more screen time than Tony Moran.
This is true.
That probably is true.
It is true, I think.
Yeah, if you were to break it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the stabbing as well, because I think that's her too, right? Is it her hands when she stabs Judith? Yeah. So it actually is.
Picking up the mask, reaching in the drawer, grabbing the knife, doing the stabbing. Way more time than Tony.
Way more time. Here's a question. Do you think because I think so. It would all depend on how busy she is. Or obviously, sadly, we lost her in 2005 to cancer, way before her time. Mm-hmm. Do you think that if she were alive today, that she would be a regular at conventions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
I think so too. Man, it would be so cool. It almost feels like because she died in 2005, and again, you know, conventions obviously existed then for sure, but certainly, and you can speak, you know, to this better than I can, but I would imagine that it's certainly over the last 10 to 12 years, especially, that the convention boom has really taken off. You know, there's conventions all over the place. Some are good, some not so good, but it's become this big thing now, especially in the horror space. I mean, there's a horror con, it seems like every weekend, and it's too bad.
Yeah.
And the internet and social media, you know, she died the year that social media was just kind of starting, YouTube, Facebook. So now with all this access to information and the new fans and stuff, you know, and it's not that John Carpenter shouldn't get the credit he deserves. Absolutely. But we sometimes forget that, you know, Deborah Hill was just as important to that first film as anybody. And it's too bad, you know, she would have been so cool to meet and to see there and to, you know, talk to, and fans would have loved her. I mean,
yeah, you know, I did meet her once.
Very cool.
Unfortunately, did not get a photo with her, did not get an autograph. It was very quickly. It was at the very first DVD I ever worked on was the very first Anchor Bay release of Halloween. My involvement was pretty minimal, but I was involved enough that I was invited to kind of like a little like release party for it that they had, that also included a screening at the Egyptian. And there was a little club across the street from the Egyptian, and they had a party there. This was in 99, I think. And Jamie was there, and Deborah, and there are pictures from that party. I see them all the time. And I was there, but I'm not in any of the pictures, but yeah, that's the one time I met her.
Very cool.
And we did contact her for H25, which was 2003.
Yeah. And
we were unaware at the time that she was dealing with major health issues. In fact, we had heard soon after the convention that she had her leg amputated.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's new information. I didn't know that she had her leg amputated.
Yeah.
And that's 2003.
Yeah.
And she didn't pass until 2005. So
yeah, well, it was a couple months later we heard about so it would have been early 2004 we heard about the leg.
Right. So certainly the last year or two of her life was really tough.
Yeah. So because quite frankly, she was very kind of let's just say she wasn't very pleasant in her turning down of the appearance. Didn't give us a reason why, but in retrospect, we now can go, oh, she was dealing with a lot, you know.
Right.
Give her a pass on that one.
Yeah.
But she was pleasant when I met her at that event in 99. So,
have you ever met Carpenter?
Have I?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, I know.
No, I know you have. I know you have. I just wanted to tee up, like, you know, if he's been, you know, how was he to you? His personality. I know you've met him. That's why I was like, have you ever met Carpenter?
I've gone on record to say I don't think he likes me, but I think most people walk away from meeting him feeling the same way. So.
Right. That's what I was getting at. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay.
I love the clip of him online when the guy's like, I love Escape from New York, but what the hell happened with Escape from LA? And John Carpenter's just like, fuck you. You know, it's like, phew. Pulls no punches.
He don't hold back, that's for sure.
He doesn't hold back.
No.
Let's see here. Michael Morbius sends in $2, says, Tony has more B problems than me. Not quite sure I understand. More B problems than you? More problems? More B problems? Tony has more B problems. Morbius? Is it to play on Morbius, maybe? It's your first super chat. Well, thank you for your very first super chat. I really appreciate that, but I'm not quite sure I follow. Where Nomad has gone before, sends in another $2, says, I don't even believe Moran was a replacement in Chips. Was he in Chips?
He wasn't. That's another embellishment story he tells. He was in Chips, that's true, but he says that they wanted him to replace not Eric Estrada, the other guy. What was his name?
I don't know. I only
Larry
know Estrada.
Wilcox.
Okay.
Larry Wilcox. I mean, do you seriously believe, just take a step back and just think of the story. Do you seriously believe that a guy who was willing to be a guest star on Chips playing a side character would turn down being the lead on one of the biggest TV shows on television?
No.
I mean, the story, it just doesn't add up. I mean,
so, yeah, you know what? That's a good point. And when you look back on Tony's embellishment and a lot of the things that he's done, he's been doing it his whole life, so it makes perfect sense that when you gave him the opportunity to, come to a con, he's seeing all this attention. He's gonna, I mean, if he could, he'd still be saying that he's in everything if he could. I get a feeling he's softened a bit on that. In terms of like,
well, he's in, I mean, the guy, I almost think he's kind of just a pathological liar. I mean, when I knew him, and I knew him well, I worked with him for, a couple of years, and, he, like, for example, and I hate talking about, like people that are no longer with us and can't defend themselves, but, whenever his sister got brought up, he used to bash her, like say she was crazy, she's a druggie, she's a loon, he doesn't talk to her anymore. I mean, it was really ugly.
Right.
But as soon as she died, he was out there like fighting, defending her against like Scott Baio when he made an off comment about that she might have been on something. And it's like, bro, I've heard you straight up say she was a, lunatic drug addict.
Yeah.
Yeah, but whatever. I mean, I met Erin. She was always nice to me. I don't know her. I can't speak to her on that, but it just shows you he's not genuine. He's constantly, I mean, he could have been lying about her to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can't believe anything that comes out of this guy's mouth.
There's a high probability.
But at the same time, I feel like he was trying to get his 15 minutes,
right.
Capitalize off of, it was news, and suddenly he was relevant for a second being related to her,
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, he probably was, because what's the common denominator here, right? When you look at, who knows if Aaron was or not, who knows, but knowing Tony the way that you do, and the way that he's presented himself to the, the broader fan base, it's not hard to believe that he's the issue. I'm
not going to say what this is because I
don't know. It's purely speculation.
I'm not going to, but I will say this. I was told a story by someone who was close with her that she was, before she passed, that she was in the process of writing a tell-all book. And the stuff that she told this person about Tony, let's just say,
not very good.
It would have been, it would have been real bad. So,
and I think I know what it is because I think you've mentioned it to me in the past.
Yeah.
That is bad.
But again, she's not here to say if that's true or not.
She's not.
I will say that this person that I know that told me this, I 1,000% believe, has no reason to lie to me.
Right.
But that's gone to the grave with her.
What year did she pass again? It's been a long time.
It's been like less than 10 years, I think.
Oh, really?
Let me see.
Oh,
I think so. Let me look. I'll look it up while you do something.
While I do something, I'm just gonna get topless here and start arm wrestling.
2017.
Oh, Jesus, that's not as long as I thought.
Yeah.
Huh. Don Larson, once again, just sends in $20. Very generous of you, Don. Thank you. Really, really appreciate that. Wasn't there, didn't Aaron and Tony appear at a convention together?
Okay. That's another false story that he tells.
Okay.
I mean, maybe at some point they may have, but one of the stories I've heard him tell multiple times was that when he was at his first Chiller convention, that Aaron had no idea. This is just, it's embellishment on top of embellishment.
Right.
He's saying, first off, that she had no idea he ever did Halloween. That's impossible. There's no way she had no clue he made that movie. Come on. All right.
Yeah.
Number two, that he appeared at Chiller and she was sitting across the room from him, and she walked up and was like, "Why are you here?" and is looking at the banner and looking at him, looking at the banner and looking at him. That's how the story he tells. I was there at that first Chiller. I booked him in it. I was at that show. You can go online, because Chiller keeps a list. They keep a list of who appears at every show, year by year. Go to that show and look it up. She was not a guest at that show. She wasn't there. That story is completely fabricated. You can verify it on their own website.
Jesus. So why
again, pathological liar.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is.
Yeah.
So.
It certainly sounds that way. And not hard to believe at all. Jordan Stevenson says Carpenter said in a Halloween documentary that he doesn't even remember the guy who was the unmasking scene of Halloween. Yes, that is true, Jordan. We talked about that. Entertainment Wizard said, I saw Tony at a horror event last October and I didn't talk to him. And another fan showed me videos of him insulting the fans. Yeah, that's probably the same stuff that we've been talking about.
Justin Smith says, why are Tony's teeth suddenly gone? This is a good question. I wondered myself.
Are his teeth gone?
I mean,
he's missing teeth.
It looks like his entire top row of teeth are missing now.
Maybe he hasn't been brushing.
You haven't noticed that? It's totally changed the look of his mouth.
Now that you mention it, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Somebody knock him out.
Maybe Will Sandin got a hold of him. I don't know.
Will's a gentleman.
Let me see here. Yeah, he seems like a nice guy. I've never met Will either, but he seems very nice. Very humble, I think. He strikes me as the kind of guy that's kind of quiet, humble, respectful.
Very much.
Let me see. Colin Murdy. I can't not hear Christopher Nelson's voice in my head when I say that name. Says, would have loved to have met Deborah Hill. Seemed like such a nice person. Would have been cool. Yeah, for sure. She would have had a lot of fans. Jim Neighbors says, I always thought Carpenter's Halloween 78 wanted his audience to be unsure. Does Laurie Strode actually see him stalking her? You guys are just talking amongst yourselves there. That's nice. Yeah. Tommy G76 says that Sean always peacocking.
That's me.
That's it.
That's what I do.
Peacocking. The Hatchet Boy says
when I'm backing down from physical threats,
right,
as I'm cowering in the corner like this.
That's it.
I'm peacocking.
Well, and you said too that in his story he said he came right up to you, and he spoke to the couple and was like, yeah, this guy, that's a cunt right there. When in reality he was across the room yelling it to you across the lobby.
He was walking across the lobby, pointing at me and yelling at me as he passed by.
Right.
There was and he had a group of like
22-year-olds.
5 to 7 people surrounding him. So he was straight up peacocking, and he was trying to show up to them. Look, I'm gonna call this punk out, And me and Nick Castle looked at each other and just kind of went, "Did that really just happen? What the fuck just happened?" He didn't come up to me and say it to my face. Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm not afraid of the guy at all.
No.
I mean, I mean, you know, and I'm not looking to fight him. I have no reason to fight him. I find him sad. I agree with James and Courtney. He's a sad, troubled individual. It's fun to make fun of, and I have to kind of make light of it because he's out there spewing my name all over the place. So otherwise, I wouldn't even ever bring him up. If he would just go away and my name would never cross his lips again, I would probably never bring the guy up again.
Yeah.
But I'm constantly sent messages and screenshots of videos or things he's posted.
Sorry about that.
And I have to address it, you know? I mean, because, you know,
No, I get it. Look, dude,
if somebody says to you, you kicked my dog and you've never even seen their dog before, you're going to go, you know, I just want to let everybody know I didn't kick this guy's dog, let alone have I ever seen his dog. You know, you want to defend yourself.
Of course.
You know, and that's what this guy's doing. He's out there making shit up.
That's it.
And then I got to turn around and go, yeah, that didn't happen. I'm the sober one. Check your source, see where it's coming from.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I feel the same way. I mean, again, you know, it's why I haven't done anything with that footage, because there is a big part of me that just kind of looks at that and goes, like, this is so juicy. It's so fantastic. The video, if I was to do something on it, I'd get, you know, who knows how many views and people tuning in. But I look at that and I go, but this is I'm not making excuses for his behavior, but it is obviously somebody who's clearly sick and unwell and who has a lot of issues. And you're right. When I watch that, like, you're laughing and you're like, holy shit, oh my God. But then there is that moment where you go, fuck, this is sad. You know, and it's like, Jesus, you know, and again, I mean, I know we're talking about him today, but obviously that was prompted by the message that I got in my inbox. If I hadn't got that message, we wouldn't be doing this today. You know, I don't talk about him on my channel unless there's some big thing that happens with him that I think is funny. But that big thing that happened a month or two ago was almost too big. You know, it's like, holy geez.
It was so obvious that that, you know, him and the guy doing the interview.
Yeah.
And maybe even Fancy Nancy were all completely inebriated and it was like, wow.
When
I would not want this out there of me.
No, well, that's it. When Fancy Nancy pulled out her, you know, bazookas, I was like, holy shit. Do they not realize that they're live? Like, and that's the thing too, guys. It was a live stream. They were live.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, they're just out there. Like, I'm watching some weird softcore porn at 3 a.m. or something on like channel.
You say they're out there, you're talking about Fancy Nancy.
I'm talking about Fancy Nancy. You know, and I'm like, what the hell is this? You know, and it's like, that's ridiculous. You know, like, and I'm sure, like, what did she say in the morning? Did she get up in the morning and go, what the hell was I doing? Why was it? Or
I wonder if she even knows this video exists, if she remembers even doing it. Who knows?
I don't know. That's actually a really good point. That's a good point.
I don't know that woman. I've never met her. It's crazy too, because, you know, I rep like the main Screamcast. Yeah. I've never seen her at a convention, but I know she does them.
Yeah. Well, she's
never won.
What was her character in the first Scream? She was the girl in the bathroom, right? Or something?
Yeah. She was not the cheerleader, the other one. I don't know if she had a character name or just girl in bathroom. I don't know.
Might have been just girl, but there are photos on her, whatever it is, Facebook page or whatever, or Instagram. So she does go to conventions, but I don't know if.
I think she's booked for Chiller, this next Chiller in April. Go say hi. Go get a screen grab of the incident and go get it signed. I'd love to see her reaction.
Wouldn't that be? But that actually, so again, to our point too, right? Is that, you know, you look at, I don't know what else she's done. I don't imagine she's done a lot more else. A lot more else. Can I speak today? A lot more maybe. Is that what the hell I'm trying to say?
Much more?
Much more, maybe. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, much more else, much more elsewhere. But that's the point, right? Is that if she's going to a convention, if she sits there, if people actually do come up to her and go, oh yeah, Scream Girl in the bathroom for 5 seconds, I'll get your autograph. That's just, I mean, if you're a huge fan of Scream, you're going to want everything, right? It doesn't matter. And that's something Tony's got to remember, is, again, I don't want to keep, beating a dead horse, but it's just, that's the point, right? Is that, so what? You're the face of Michael Myers. People are going to want it. Maybe the average casual fan doesn't give a shit. But those hardcore fans, when they come with that poster, they want everything. They want the If the guy that was lying in the bush at the beginning of the movie that looks like, Freddie Mercury, if he was alive, if you could find him.
He is Barry Bernardi.
Well, if he goes to a convention, people are going to want his autograph. I mean,
working on it for H45.
Fantastic. If the phone booth was still there, they'd want the phone booth's autograph.
Yeah, Barry Bernardi, he was one of Carpenter's guys. He worked on a lot of his films. He now produces all of Adam Sandler's stuff. We're trying to get him there.
Amazing.
But he played the dead mechanic.
It's funny. I made a post about 3 or 4 years ago where I took a screen grab of that and I made a post, and I thought you could kind of feel the wink in my, post. But I said, I said, this is, I forget exactly what I said, but I said, basically, this is Freddie Mercury, lying in the, in the weeds. He was there. He was, recording something with Queen, and he was there, and they asked, he's friends with so-and-so. And the amount of people that were like, are you fucking serious? Holy shit. And then people started to share it, that Freddie Mercury was in Halloween Nights. And I'm like, no, guys, I had to delete the post because it was getting shared so often. I'm like, no. I just think he looks like Freddie Mercury in that one little shot. Unbelievable how that, shit like that can catch on fire. I thought it was really funny. All right. A couple super chats came in here. We got super chat from Nathaniel Fincher, sends in $2. Thank you, Nathaniel. Says, thoughts on the SWSW heckler, the South by Southwest heckler at the Evil Dead Rise premiere.
I didn't hear about that.
I saw the clip of it. There's, so I guess it was at the Evil Dead Rise premiere cast.
Oh, is this the thing where Bruce Campbell said fuck off or something, or shut the fuck up? Yeah. Some heckler was in the audience and said, yeah, your fucking movie sucks, whatever. And then you hear like, boo, 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 boo. And he gets up and then I think he says it again or something. And then Campbell's like, shut the fuck up and get out of here or something like that. And I'm like, okay, I mean, it seems real. Some people are, were saying it's staged, but it seems real. I have a couple friends that saw Evil Dead Rises, and both of them said it's fucking excellent. So
I hear it's amazing.
I'm excited to see it. So.
What did you think of the 13 one? Alvarez's one.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. The remake.
Yeah.
I think it's very underrated.
Me too.
I think it's a great remake.
Yeah, I do too. And what's funny, but this Evil Dead Rise is not a direct sequel to that though, right? Like it's almost like a complete reboot again, I think anyway. That's unfortunate because that 2013 one was actually really good. It's too bad if they abandon that and pretend it doesn't exist now. Sebastian sends in $4.99, says, Tony pulls up to your house with two 12-year-olds. What happens next? By the way, nice to meet you, Sean.
What the hell does that mean?
What the hell? Yeah, I don't understand what that means. Tony pulls up to your house with two 12-year-olds. What happens next? By the way, nice to meet you, Sean.
What happens next?
What happens next? Are these his kids?
I would call child services.
I'd call 911 immediately.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Child Protective Services.
Not sure where you're going with that, Sebastian, but
but hey, it sounds like something that's actually plausible. I mean,
it does. It does. Yeah, it does sound plausible. So I imagine that Tony obviously is, not going to be at the 45th. I don't imagine that's a situation, or maybe you can't talk about it.
I can announce now that he will not be there. I have no problem announcing that right now.
See, normally we do announcements, but we're doing the people who won't be there at the 45th.
and he will not even be allowed to purchase a ticket. So, I mean, he could purchase a ticket and then be removed from the building.
Could do it through somebody else. Maybe Fancy Nancy might purchase a ticket.
There you go.
And show up. Maybe he'll show up as a guest and just like as a fan walking around.
Yeah,
Incognito.
If he steps foot in that building, he'll be removed. I can guarantee you that.
All right.
He wouldn't. He wouldn't.
No, I don't think he will either. Don Larson just sends another very generous super chat, just supporting the channel of $20. Thank you, Don. Really appreciate that, man. You've been very kind this evening. Thank you. Edward Nito sends in $10. Thank you, Edward, and says, shirtless in a hotel room, the Tony Moran story. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you know, it makes you wonder if, fast forward a week from now or whenever that, you hear the eventual Tom Sizemore news about Tony Moran. What will he be known for? What clips will they show? If it even makes a TMZ article, there's so much to choose from.
Yeah, and I wonder how TMZ or somebody would, face of Michael Myers. I
don't know, to be honest with you. I don't think any of them would even report it. Although it was shocking that when Jim Winburn died, there was a couple sites that reported that actor who played Michael Myers passed away. Clearly, they had no clue what they were talking about. Right. See, that's the trouble when you have a few people play the character and one person specifically playing him 90% of the time. When you're half paying attention or you're not a rabid fan like we are, those details get lost. And then you just see a headline, Michael Myers, actor dead. And it's like, oh my God, Nick Castle, what? What's going on? I felt the same way when there was that headline about 4 or 5 years ago, actor who played Alf dies. And I'm like, Paul Fosco died? And then it turns out that it's the little person. I think is that the PC thing now to say? I'm not sure. Vertically challenged? I don't know.
I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm only 5'8", so you could say that about me too. But, but they, the person that was in the Alf costume during the opening credits, when you see like run down the hall and things like that, they passed away. Well, that's, with all due respect to the person that was in the costume, that's not the personality of Alf. That's not the voice of Alf. That's not what brought Alf to life. It's Paul Fusco, the puppeteer, the creator of Alf. He's the voice. I think he's, the arm and the mouth or something like that. And, but of course, the headline was just actor who played Alf died. And it's like, oh my God, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Sebastian has explained himself. He said, I meant the fans since they're all kids, but it sounds weird with no context. Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Well, I don't think they're quite 12. I think that and again, I don't know, but I would suspect that the people I just have it in my head that the people that be like, yeah, man, Tony Moran, let's fucking go up to my hotel room, smoke some crack and fuck some hookers, have to be under the age of 30. Like, I just cannot imagine anybody in their 40s or 50s. That's true.
Look at Tate. He's fucking like 68 or whatever the fuck he is, and he's doing it. So
that's true. That's true.
Some people never escape their bro years.
Yeah, you are correct.
You look at a guy like Tony and you go, yeah, I remember my first beer too. That kind of thing. But
yeah, you are correct. That is a very good point. Some more super chats came in here. We've got Tim Line sends in $5 and says, H45 will be my first con. Looking forward to it and seeing filming locations. You're going to have a blast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, hopefully we'll be getting those Horror Solid Grounds tours tickets on sale soon. I'm gonna try to add some new shit to it this time, and it's gonna be a good one.
Nice. That's gonna be fun. You're doing that on the Friday, right?
Yes. Yeah, on the 29th.
29th of September.
Yeah. And then on the 30th, the actual convention begins.
Right.
Which is also my birthday, by the way. So everybody make sure to kiss my feet
That's right. Right. Sean's going to have a gigantic Pope ring on. And before you enter the bus, you have to kneel down and kiss his ring.
Yeah.
So,
No, the bus tours are the day before my birthday. The 30th is my birthday.
Oh, okay.
So technically, I'm just throwing myself a huge party at the Pasadena Convention Center.
it's actually
really
kind
all
of
about
true.
me, bro. It's all about me.
Are you going to have like a little hat on, a little,
I'm going to have a shirt on that says "Just Peacocking."
Okay. All right. That sounds good.
Let's see. Anything else in here?
Another super chat from Reese Wilson, all the way from Australia, sends in almost $8, 8 Australian bucks. Says, little known fact, the bum in Halloween Ends was based on Tony Moran. I'm Michael Myers.
I thought the bum had better teeth.
It's true. Why didn't they give that to Nick Castle?
Funny enough, he was originally supposed to play that part. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. But as I was watching the movie, like when he says, I'm Mike, I'm like, this is like the irony in that would have been so fun.
No, he originally, that was the part he was supposed to play. And I think it then turned into, from what Nick told me, it was supposed to be more of a small part. And then it turned into a bigger part for the bum, who had more to do, and they wanted to keep Nick's thing a little more of a quick cameo, like he was with the Flasher thing,
right?
But actually, Nick was a little bummed that he was like, that would have been full circle. He's killing Michael.
That's what I mean. And he says the line, "I'm Michael Myers." That would have been cool. I also thought it would have been cool to somehow get. Of course, this is just purely fan service. It's just me going, "Oh, that would have been kind of funny." Get PJ Souls in the bar somewhere. You know what I mean? And instead of it being Corey and Allison, he flashes to PJ Soul. She's just some random bar patron, and he's just like, "See anything you like?" You know what I mean? That full circle kind of thing would have been really kind of cute, But
so many things they could have done better or differently.
I agree. Do I have all the super chats so far? I think I do. How are you for time, Sean?
I probably should call it here in a minute.
Call it. You want to go? If we take another 8 minutes, it'll be 2 hours.
Okay.
Want to take it 8 minutes? 8 more minutes?
Probably live 8 minutes.
All right. 8 more minutes to go in the show, folks, and then we'll call it a day.
Throw in this is last chance for questions. I'll be right back, but get your last questions in now.
Last questions in now. Send in those $5,000 super chats, folks. Holly Klein says, when I first saw the movie, I thought it was Nick. Then a rewatch, it was, and then a rewatch, it was like, okay, no, that's not him. No, it wasn't. But that's really cool to learn that he was originally going to be the bum. It makes total sense, right? He's got the long white beard and, with some makeup to dirty up his face a bit and things like that. They could make him, look kind of, very similar to what the bum ended up looking like anyway. And that would have been such a fun, like a really cute moment, like, I'm Michael Myers. I mean, fans would have loved that. The average person, it would have gone over their head. But, for hardcore Halloween fans, that definitely would have stuck out for sure. Antonis Andriotis sends in $4.99 and says, has Sean met Brad Dourif? He is my favorite horror actor. Chucky is the best horror villain. Don't know. We'll ask Sean. Here he is right here. Did you catch that, Sean?
What now?
Antonis Andriotis, super chat, wants to know, have you ever met Brad Dourif? Chucky is his favorite horror villain.
Oh, yeah. Met Brad many, many times. Very soft-spoken, kind of awkward dude.
Very nice.
Just very kind of creepy and like, hey, how are you? He's just he's very chill and... nice guy.
Very cool. Let's see here. Jack sends in $4.99 and says, a fan of both of you guys. Cool to see the streams cross. Yes, this is a stream. These are streams that can cross.
If you want to see other streams cross, go party with Tony Moran in his hotel room shirtless.
So,
Just saying.
do you guys see her tits?
Oh boy. Thank you, Jack, for the super chat. Appreciate it. Does
the mask in Halloween 4 hurt the movie? Yes. I do believe it does. That mask took me out of the movie so much. Just looked so shitty.
It does. Yeah, it does. Although, you know what's weird is that the mask has, in certain shots, not all the way through, but in certain shots, it's grown on me a little bit over the years. It's not good. It's not good at all. But there's something.
Like you see that poster and you're like, oh man. And then you know, it's not the mask in the movie.
I know. I know it's not, and when people actually Photoshop the mask on the poster, it's like, you know what I mean? How would you have felt if they had just used the bandage look through the whole film?
I would have liked it better, I think.
Same.
Yeah. It had a creepy vibe to it, that bandage look.
It did. What's the...
Brandon H. asked, did I know that in the Halloween Ends novel, the bum's name is Nelson Christopher? I heard that from Christopher Nelson. Yeah, he mentioned that he was kind of given a nod by the person who wrote the novelization.
That's fun. I didn't know that. Mark Beer says, hi, Sean. Do you think Kim Richards was originally going to be Lindsay Wallace in Halloween, as she was in Assault on Precinct 13, but she wasn't available, so they gave it to her sister?
I've never heard that. I know that Kim Richards was in Assault, but
and got it handed to her.
I've never heard that she was supposed to be in Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, the little girl that is shot in Assault on Precinct 13 is Kyle Richards' sister.
Yeah. Better known for films like Tough Turf and like The Escape from Witch Mountain and stuff like that, the Disney movies.
That's it. Brandon Collins sends in $2, says, a Halloween film set the night he escaped? Yes or no? Halloween film set the night he escaped?
Isn't that called Halloween? It's pretty much.
Yeah, Brandon, I'm not sure what he means. A Halloween film set the night he escaped. Yes or no?
Because basically the original Halloween kind of takes place in like 24 hours, kind of, doesn't it? It's like the night, and then the next night is Halloween, right?
Yeah, maybe Brandon means just like that night. So I guess the 30th.
Just kind of showing him escaping the asylum and all that. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's
they kind of did that in Rob Zombies a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if a whole movie just based on him escaping from the hospital would be that entertaining. So I'm going to go no. Yeah. I'm going to go no on that one.
How do you feel about a series? I've always been against, I always thought the Corey idea in Halloween Ends would be a great sort of anthology story on its own in like a series without Michael Myers in it. But I don't have any interest in going back and watching little 6-year-old Michael at Smith's Grove. Not to say that I couldn't be convinced, but I think the more we know, the more we see, more of the mystique and the ambiguity is removed. And I just don't want to see any of the mystery and, the Loomis years and all that kind of stuff. And, I think, I don't know. Do you see it the same way?
I think it would be I'd be interested in seeing a Loomis series that's kind of like the Dr. Loomis files that examines other patients, and you can write stuff that doesn't have to all be Myers. You could maybe eventually work your way up to that one. I don't know. At this point,
I thought about that too. The only thing that worries me is I've always believed that Michael Myers was sort of the pinnacle of his, he had never come across anything quite like him. It was that real battle between science and the supernatural. I mean, he's a psychiatrist, he's a doctor of medicine, so to speak. And I just, my worry is that if we go back and watch Dr. Loomis through, say, like, the 40s and the 50s, we're going to have patients and characters that are just as creepy or interesting or mysterious. And I always got the impression that his life was pretty normal, and he was dealing with he was able to diagnose kids and work with kids until he met Myers, and it was something he had never seen before. And I just get worried that if we go back and see the Loomis story with all these patients and kids, it's ironically going to sort of water down Myers to some degree. But,
I don't know.
I'm willing to be convinced. All right, we'll get through these 2 super chats here because we got to go. Edward Nito sends in $10, says, "Sup, guys? Which setting would you be the most scared to be in? Texas Chainsaw, Friday the 13th, or Halloween?" Probably Texas Chainsaw. That'd be frightening.
Yeah. When you say which setting, I don't know. You'd have to be a little more specific.
I guess I'm picturing like in the house with the family around the table. But Friday the 13th would be scary too, out in the middle of the woods.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
I mean, I guess, Texas Chainsaw, I guess. Because you're also dealing with a whole crazy family and not just one killer.
Yeah, that's true. Being around that table and having my eyes forced open and my fingers cut and shit. Josh McKenna, $4.99 says, "Why did Tony say that acting in a horror movie as a low for an actor Why did Tony say that acting in a horror movie is low for an actor as it is the same essentially as acting in porn? What the fuck? That's so weird. Horror and porn have nothing in common."
Yeah, what he was saying, and this is me kind of defending Tony a little bit, is the example he was making was that in the 70s, he was saying that being in a horror film was looked down upon just as much as being in a porn, which I think is, again, an embellishment. I think, horror wasn't as legit as it is now. And, maybe some people were embarrassed to be in horror films at the time, but I don't think you could ever compare it to being in porn.
No.
Come on.
No, but when I heard him say that, I knew exactly what he was talking about, and he was right in to the degree that you said there. It's especially a B horror movie, $300,000, independent, low budget. I mean, it was just kind of like, oh God, really? No, that is true, but not exactly.
Let me answer a couple of these quick ones here. Holly Klein is asking if I'm going to be at Flashback Weekend in August. Yes, I will. Heather Miller is asking if I'm going to be at Horror Hound Weekend next weekend. Yes, I will. Let's see. So, for some reason, Rosalia is asking Colin about Class of 1984. I don't know why she's asking, but it's one of my favorite movies, by the way. Love that movie so much.
Nice.
In fact, I was talking to you, Dave, about me coming to town to do a Horrors Hall Grounds on that one.
You were.
Which I will be doing eventually.
Yeah, invitation's open. That'd be fun.
Let's see.
We'll be peacocking.
I'll be peacocking all weekend. That's
Be peacocking in Toronto.
That's what I do. I'll be backing down from fights, cowering in a corner, and peacocking whenever I'm not being threatened.
Do you have any conventions? Are there any horror conventions in Niagara? Do you have any conventions coming up that way?
There is that Frightmares at the Falls is coming up that's in October. Okay. Which I am talking to him about some people. I have a few clients booked into Niagara, whatever it's called, Niagara Falls Comic-Con. I think.
Yeah, it's in June, I think.
That's in June. I have a couple Terrifier people there. Terrifier 2 people. Okay. Or maybe and Terrifier 1. I don't know. But anyway, Yeah, that I won't be at that one, I doubt. Maybe I'll be at the one in October. We'll see. It depends on who I finalize.
Okay.
So
Raymond says you missed a few super chats. I did. Okay.
I see there's one from Jonathan V, unless it's John 5. Is it John 5? Holy shit. No. Jonathan V.
What does he say? Jonathan V499. Thanks. Jonathan says, when Meyer sits up and stalks Laurie, which score did you like better for that scene? H1 or H2? Oh, I got to go Halloween 1. Because there really is, it's more of a drone when he sits up.
When he sits
turns
up,
his head. It just
dun-dun.
In part
Dun-dun.
1, yes. In part 2, he sits up and it's more that whoa. And then when the kids come out of the house, it's boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Which is a great score, but I think I got to go with the classic.
Well, you know what's funny though is I prefer the Halloween 2 score to part 1. Something about it I like a lot more than the part 1 score, but the way the part 1 score is used in part 1 is perfect.
The Halloween 2 score is really great. It is really great.
I like the little more synthy vibe.
Yeah. I'm looking at the super chats here. Josh McKenna, I got. Edward Nito, sup guys. TCM 513, yeah, got that one. Brandon Collins, yep. Sebastian, you should do.
Dave missed me. No, we got Sebastian because he was the 12-year-old one.
He did, but he also sent it. He also sent in another one, $1.99. It says you should do 2 dudes video on Evil Dead 13. Tony Michael, not Tony Moran, my co-host for that podcast. Yeah, maybe we will. I'll ask him what and see what he thinks. I think that's it. I don't think there's any others we've missed. Everything else here looks good.
Score of the Halloween franchise is Halloween 3.
Halloween
that's my
3.
favorite score. I just love that score.
Do you think they'll sidestep and shift to Halloween 3 as a return to the franchise in terms of what they're going to do next?
I think they're going to do something with Halloween 3. I don't think it's going to be in lieu of the original. I think you're going to see maybe both. So
I would love to see them go back, do something a bit different. Go back, maybe do like a 1950s noir version of the original film or something like that, you know?
Oh, you got a special super chat here.
I did.
From Patrick Ring.
Patrick Ring?
Who was actually one of the people on that infamous podcast.
Patrick Ring on the infamous podcast.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Patrick, for nice. I don't think we've ever met, so nice to sort of cyber meet you. Sends in $5. Says, sorry about the Tony Moran shit. Wasn't our intention when we did the podcast, Sean, as you know.
I've spoken to the other two, to 2 sober gentlemen that were on the podcast. Patrick and Brett. And yeah, they had no idea it was going to go off the rails the way it did. And they were not in control of that podcast. They were on there, and it was that Michael Strickland guy who, for whatever reason, his
fucking
name said
Moran,
Pat,
man.
that guy. The other drunk guy, but it said Pat Mine is what it said his name was, but his real name's Michael Strickland, I guess. It was his thing, and he was kind of in control of it, and they both kind of sat back and just watched the slow train wreck like we did. But unfortunately, they were kind of, they're kind of now
their
part
hands
of
were
that
tied.
legacy.
well, but also too, I mean, you could tell, when I was watching it, you could tell that you guys felt uncomfortable. Now, I didn't know until after the fact, because of the way that because of the layout and because of the way it looked, I got the impression that Patrick, you and your co-host to I don't know which one you were there on the left or the right, but it felt like it was your stream, like you guys were in charge. And maybe it was just because of the way that Michael was in the bottom, kind of being like this and looking. It just felt like you guys were in the cockpit. And I remember thinking to myself, why don't they just cut this? Why don't they end the stream? I didn't realize that you guys weren't in charge of the stream. Now it makes sense why you didn't cut it. The guy in the bottom left was in charge of it.
In fact, they spent like the next 48 hours trying to get it taken down.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but
crazy stuff. Okay. Frank Riker sends in $5 for the sexy MFers in the chat. Thank you very much, Frank. And Real Reveal 279 says, what was your thoughts about Jamie Lee Curtis winning an Oscar? That's a good one to end on, Sean.
I mean, I'm happy for her. You know, I didn't see all those films, so I can't really say who I thought deserved it the most, but I'm happy for her. Yeah,
I'm happy for her too. I've said on my channel that I did see the movie, and I say this with all due respect to the cast and the film and Jamie and the crew and everything. I am surprised that it was nominated for Best Picture, not because it's a bad movie. I actually like the movie, but I didn't walk away from the movie thinking, "Oh my God, that's if that doesn't get nominated, if that's like it didn't resonate with me that it was going to be that level of success." So when the movie was winning all these awards and Jamie, won the Oscar, I was like, "Really? Wow. Okay, well, good for her." I mean, that's great, but I was a little surprised, I guess. It didn't feel like an Oscar performance to me, but it is certainly fun. And it is very theatrical and silly. And she does a great job at it. So, and it's nice to see her, just because of who she is to the industry and who her parents were and how long she's been around. It's also a nice legacy sort of symbolic thing too. But whether she fully deserved it, based on merit completely, I'm not sure, because I haven't seen the others either. But anyway, all right, those are the super chats. All right, folks, that is going to do it for Sean Clark and I. Sean, thank you so much for joining me here today.
No problem.
I really appreciate it. Hang around for just a couple of seconds so we can have a proper goodbye afterwards. And thank you, of course, to my great moderators.
Where we get shirtless, right? This
is where we get shirtless.
I gotta go grab a couple brews. We'll get shirtless. What do you think?
Grab it right now.
Yeah.
Right fucking now, man. Right,
this
Sean
is how we
Clark,
party, dog.
man.
This is how we do it.
Yeah.
That's how we do it, bro. Let's go, bro.
Somebody's going to clip that. Just that 5 seconds.
Let's go, bro.
And put it on loop. Thanks to my great moderators, Frank Riker, Tabitha Short, Darren Sands, Chris Baber, Cody Snyder, and Andrew Stevens for doing what you guys do. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you to all the amazing super chats that came in today. I really appreciate you all supporting the channel on that level. It means a lot. And I will be back, if not tomorrow, I'll be back Monday night with Tony Michael, not Tony Moran, on another episode of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. So
no fun.
Yeah, well, Now, Sean and I have to go get shirtless. All right, folks. There it is. Woo! Show some nip. Show some nip, baby.
Nope, not happening.
All right, folks. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.